where Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, as well as business rescue practitioners at SAA and SA Express will brief Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts about the future of the two airlines. Now, the virtual briefing is set to take place from 3 p.m. today. Newsroom Africa's business editor, Xolani Mbanjwa, now joins me to take a look at what we can in fact expect. Xolani, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I mean, last night we finally got to see the statements, SAA's financial statements, but I mean, it wasn't a pretty picture. Walk us through what those statements actually reflected.
Well, if you remember in April of this year, the Department of Public Enterprises denied the SAA business rescue practitioners another 10 billion rand bailout. And, you know, when you look at that figure and what they presented last night, Liesl, it's quite clear that the losses that they made in 2018 and 2019 being 5.5 billion rand in 2018 and 5.1 billion rand last year, that actually they're trying to cover their tracks, really. They're trying to cover the losses and actually keep it afloat. So the business rescue practitioners have been under immense pressure to actually find money somewhere. And, you know, with COVID-19 and all the demands around that, government has been very, very clear, especially the Finance Minister, Tito Mboweni, has been very, very clear. He is not going to throw money at any failing state-owned enterprise. So there are a lot of problems at SAA, and when it comes to the financial side, there are a lot of demands as well, which is why the last time we heard from this is why this is actually very important today, because the last time we heard from the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, and the Portfolio Committee on the Portfolio Committee in Parliament on Public Enterprises, he was very specific to say that we are going to have a new company, but giving it new money, we don't know how it's going to look like.
So let's look at that. I mean, Minister Pravin Gordhan saying, making it very clear, in fact, that there's a very high possibility that there is going to be a new airline, and even that government wants a different approach from the SA business rescue practitioners at large. I mean, what are your comments and what do you make out of what is going to emerge based on this 3 p.m. briefing?
So talking to people who are at SA Express, they're actually saying, you know, we wanted, as SA Express wanted only 500 million to actually get out of business rescue and actually take to the skies again and actually try and be profitable and return to profitability. That's what they had actually promised, but they didn't get the 500 million rand. Yeah. And when you contrast the two, SAA wanted 10 billion rand. So we can expect that the two are going to merge. That's what we can expect from this, and a new company comes up, a new company, we can call it in the Zamzansi or something like that, but whatever happens, government wants a new company. Government has not been happy about how the 5.5 billion rand that was given to the business rescue practitioners was actually spent. They actually wanted you know, items that it was spent on, and there were frictions between the business rescue practitioners and the department, seemingly. So what we can expect tonight is actually, this afternoon, is actually a clear plan for these two airlines from their business rescue practitioners and what they have agreed on with the Department of Public Enterprises.
I mean, there are always those camps for and against. The opposition, the official opposition, it seems that the DA has come out. They're unhappy about these plans. I mean, what have they said exactly?
They have said that we are not going to support any plan to have a new company or to save SAA if it will involve taking from the national fiscus. Okay. So they are actually saying that they would support, however, privatizing wholly SAA, something that is the government does not want, something that the government will not do, is not prepared to do, and they've been very clear on that. What they would actually want is actually, and what they've actually said in the past, is that we have received a lot of applications for equity partnerships. Some have been promising, some you can see that they are just taking chances. So there are differences there, and the DA is expected to make this briefing make sure that they are heard when it comes to their voice being heard about no money going to SAA and them supporting a new company that is wholly privately owned.
Xolani, the briefing is, as we mentioned, set to take place at 3 p.m. Just in conclusion, I mean, on Tuesday we saw that the business rescue practitioners signed a memorandum of understanding with the department. What was that memorandum of understanding all about?
So one of the things that the Department of Public Enterprises also raised at the last briefing was that we have heard so many stories about the business rescue practitioners at SAA wanting to actually, retrench staff,
yes,
wanting to sell some parts of SAA. We don't want that. So this agreement that was signed on Tuesday is nothing new according to the SAA business rescue practitioners. They just said by the 30th of June, nothing will be sold. That nothing is going to have happened, no retrenchments, and they made it very clear that one of the main purposes is to save jobs. Remember, they have already lost a court case. With NUMSA and the South African Cabin Crew Association going to court and winning at the Labour Court. And the Labour Court was very clear to say, you can't retrench people and say there's going to be a new company for some without a new rescue plan as to what it actually is. So this time around, we need to hear about that rescue plan, how it's going to look like. And this agreement is just laying the foundation once again to say, how do we relate between the Department of Public Enterprises and the business rescue practitioners? How are we going to decide? There's nothing that one is going to do without the other agreeing to it. But the 30th of June is quite an important date that they have set to say we need to have come up with a final business rescue, a plan, so that we can move forward.